You have something you would never give up, something you protect, something you hide behind. God knows what it is. So did the woman at the well. She walks alone, at noon, under a sun that cracks the earth. The woman from Sychar, her name unspoken, her past a trail of dust behind her, moves through the valley shadowed by Mount Gerizim. The rock face looms, striated with ancient seams, its peak lost in heat haze. This is their holy mountain, a place of covenant, they say, of promises carved not in stone tablets, but in the bones of the land itself. Below, the well sits like a wound in the ground. Jacob's well, deep, dark, a throat waiting to be filled. She comes now, sandals scraping over limestone, each step measured, careful. The hour is wrong. Women come at dawn, at dusk, when the air holds its breath and the light is soft. Not now. Not when the sun hammers down, turning the valley into an oven. But she walks, because the cool hours carry more than water. They carry eyes, whispers, the weight of fingers pointing behind cupped hands. Her skin is dry, sun-baked. A thin veil covers her head, but not her shame. That follows, a silent companion. She knows the rhythm of the village, how the women gather, how they draw water together, how their laughter rings sharp against the stones. She knows what they say when she's not there, and when she is. Then, another figure, seated at the edge of the well, a man, Jewish, robes dusty from the road. His shoulders sag. The travel has carved lines into his face. He is not supposed to be here. No Jew would come to Samaria unless driven by something stronger than convenience. And he is not just any man, a rabbi, teacher, set apart. He sees her. She sees him. The air thickens, not with heat, but with history. Centuries of scorn, of divided temples, of curses spoken in two tongues. Jews do not drink from Samaritan vessels. They do not share wells. They do not speak. And yet, he speaks. "Give me a drink." The words hang. Simple, ordinary, but they tear through the silence like a blade. He asks her. A woman, alone, with a past that trails behind her like smoke. He does not wait for permission, does not call for a man of the village. He speaks, direct, human, one sentence, and every wall falls. Race, gender, ritual, law, all of it, shattered in the space between breath and reply. This is no accident, no random meeting beneath a merciless sky. The path he walked, through Galilee, around Samaria, into this very valley, was not chosen by feet alone. It was ordained, before the first stone was laid, before the well was dug, before her mother's mother was born. The land remembers, the well remembers, and now, this moment, carves itself into the rock of eternity. She came for water, he came for her. But what happens when holiness sits beside impurity? When the sacred draws near, not in temple smoke, but in thirst? What if the thing you've hidden, the thing you carry in silence, meets the one who sees it all, and still asks for a drink? The clouds, slow, swollen with rain that never falls. They crawl across the face of the mountains, burying the peaks in shadow. Not a storm, no thunder, no release, just the press of something held back, something waiting. The air tastes thick, metallic, like the moment before a wound splits open. She feels it, in her shoulders, in the base of her skull. Not just the heat, not just the sun, but the weight of what came before, what lives in the soil, in the blood, in the way a name is spat, not spoken. Her people, called traitors, called defiled, born from conquest. Assyrian soldiers settling in the north, taking wives, building lives on the bones of Israel's tribes. Not pure, never pure. That's what the Jews say. That's what the priests whisper when they cross the border into Galilee. Skirts lifted so dust from Samaria won't cling. Half-breeds. That word, it sticks, not just to her ancestors, to her, to the curve of her cheek, the slope of her nose, examined, judged, found wanting. Mount Gerizim, her mountain, where Abraham raised the knife, where the true altar stood, they say. Not Jerusalem, never Jerusalem, that city with its golden dome and false promises. Her people prayed here, offered lambs, burned incense, called it holy. But the Jews laughed, called it idolatry, called it rebellion, built their own temple, then tore it down, centuries ago. But the stones remember. The wind carries the echo of fire. 400 years. No war, no swords, just silence. Cold, sharp. A silence that cuts deeper than any blade. No treaties signed, no peace declared, just distance. Avoided roads, unshared wells, unspoken curses. A woman from Sychar does not speak to a Jew. A Jew does not look at her, not unless to condemn. And she is split down the middle. Not one thing, not the other. Too Samaritan for the Jews, too broken for her own. Her village tolerates her, uses her, sends her for water when the sun is highest, when no one else will come. She is useful, but not welcome, not clean, not whole. 5 husbands, 5 names, 5 graves, 5 rejections, 5 times cast out, left with nothing but the clothes on her back and the jar on her head. Each marriage a hope, a chance, a roof, a hand, then gone, broken, one after another. Did they die? Did they leave? Did they call her cursed? Did they say the gods were angry with her? And now, the 6th. Not a husband, not a vow, not a ring, not a blessing, just a man, a shadow in the house, a presence without promise. He gives no protection, no name, no future, only need, only use. And in return, she survives. But at what cost? The women know. They whisper, they point, they call her unclean, a woman who devours men, a witch, a curse. Noon, the hour of no shadows, when the sun stands still, when even the lizards hide. She walks then, because the heat is honest. It does not pretend, it burns, but it does not judge. The gossip, oh, the gossip is worse. It slithers, it bites, it follows, it lives in the giggle behind the hand, the sudden silence when she enters the market. Better the sun, better the blistered skin, better the silence of the path, the well, Jacob's well, deep, dark, a hole in the earth. She comes not for fellowship, not for laughter, not for the rhythm of shared buckets and shared stories. She comes to draw, to carry, to return. Alone. The jar, clay, heavy, chipped at the rim, is balanced on her head. It presses, a constant ache, a reminder. Every step, the weight, every breath, the strain. This is her life. Lift, carry, pour, repeat. She expects nothing, expects solitude, expects the scrape of sandal on stone, the creak of the rope, the splash below, expects to be unseen, unheard, unnamed. Then, him, a man, sitting at the edge, robed, bearded, Jewish, his skin pale from travel, his eyes tired, but fixed, on her, not looking away, not turning, not spitting in the dust. Her breath stops, her hands tighten on the rope, every muscle locks. This is not how it happens. This is not safe. A Jew here, speaking to her? A woman? A woman like her? The stories flood in, the insults, the stones thrown at travelers, the warnings. They will defile you. They will curse you. They will steal your blessing. And she has given them reason, in their eyes, in their laws, in their hearts. He speaks, one sentence, but it cracks the world. Not a command, not a demand, a request, soft, human. Give me a drink. The air does not move. The wind holds its breath. The mountain watches. The well listens. And she feels the full weight of every year, every lie, every loss, every name ever called her, pressed down. Not just on her shoulders, on her soul. The past is not behind. It is here, now, in the space between them, in the silence after his words, in the jar on her head, in the dust at her feet, in the blood in her veins. She is not just a woman, she is a border, a wound, a memory, and he has crossed it. He speaks, not a shout, not a command, a whisper almost, dry lips parting. "Give me a drink." She flinches, the rope slips in her grip, dust puffs from her sandals. A Jew, asking her, a woman, alone, at noon, the hour when even vultures retreat. Her voice cracks the stillness. "How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me?" No courtesy, no pretense. The question hangs like smoke over burnt thorns, centuries in 2 breaths. He does not answer the history, does not name the border, instead leans forward. Shadows pool beneath his eyes. "If you knew the gift of God..." A pause. The wind dies. The mountain holds its breath. And who it is that says to you, "Give me a drink," you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. Mayim Chayim. Not stagnant, not drawn from stone. Water that moves, water that flows, water that sings. She blinks. The sun beats down. Her throat is parched, her palms slick with sweat. You have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? Laughter almost rises, bitter, sharp. Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, with his sons and his livestock? She crosses her arms. The jar rests against her hip, heavy, familiar, a weight she knows. He does not flinch, his gaze softens. Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again. A beat, the creak of the old wooden pulley. A lizard darts beneath a rock. But whoever drinks of the water I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water I give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life. She stares. The words twist in her chest. Not comfort, not clarity, a knot, a riddle wrapped in thirst. She wants it. Not the meaning, not the mystery, the relief, the end of this walk, this jar, this shame. "Sir," she says, "give me this water so that I will not be thirsty or have to come here to draw." Hope, thin, frayed, but there. He shifts. The dust shifts with him. "Go, call your husband and come here." The air tightens. A bird cries out, sharp, sudden, then silence. She swallows. The sun glints off the rim of the well. "I have no husband." Truth, and not truth. A threadbare veil. He leans in. Not accusation, not scorn. A voice like water over stone. "You are right in saying, 'I have no husband.'" A breath. "For you have had 5 husbands, and the one you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true." The words land, not like stones, like light, exposing, not burning, revealing every hidden corner, every locked door, every night she buried in silence. 5 names, 5 graves, 5 doors slammed. 5 times she was told she was not enough, not pure, not faithful, not worthy. And now, the 6th. No ring, no vow, no blessing, just a man who stays because no one else will. She feels seen, not judged, not cast out, seen. And he remains, still seated, still speaking, still present. Her breath comes fast. The jar slips. She catches it. Clay against palm, rough, real. "Lord," she says, "I perceive that you are a prophet." A pivot, a turn, from shame to doctrine, from heart to hill. "Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, and you say that in Jerusalem is the place where people ought to worship." Gerizim, the mountain behind her, where the altar stood, where the true name was spoken, where the Torah was kept pure. Jerusalem, the city beyond the hills, the golden dome, the place of sacrifice, the seat of the priests who called her people dogs. She raises the old war, hopes it will shield her. He looks past her, past the mountain, past the city, into the wind. The hour is coming, indeed it has come, when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. Silence. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. Another breath, deeper. But the hour is coming, and is now here, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father seeks such as these to worship him. Spirit, not stone, not mountain, not bloodline. Truth, not tradition, not territory, not tribe. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. The words fall like rain on dry ground. Not loud, not forceful. Final. She lowers her head. The sun no longer burns. It illuminates. I know that Messiah is coming, she says, voice barely above a whisper. When he comes, he will proclaim all things to us. Hope, ancient, deep, passed down like seed in the soil. He looks at her, fully, completely, no veil, no distance. I who speak to you am he. Not a shout, not a fanfare, a statement, simple, absolute. The world does not shake, the sky does not split, no lightning, no thunder, but everything changes. The well, the jar, the mountain, the past, the shame, the loneliness, all of it, redefined. Then, footsteps, dust rising, 3 figures approaching, disciples, eyes wide, mouths half open. They see him, talking with her, a Samaritan woman, alone, at noon. They do not speak, do not question, but their silence screams. She does not wait, does not gather her things, does not adjust the jar. She leaves it, there, at the edge of the well, clay on stone, turns, walks, no longer hunched, no longer hidden, head high, shoulders back, feet swift. She runs toward the city, toward the market, toward the women who scorned her. Her voice carries over the stones, clear, strong, unafraid. Come, see a man who told me all that I ever did. Can this be the Christ? Behind her, the well, silent, deep. Before her, the city, waking. Above, the sky, opening. And somewhere, unseen, a waterfall crashes into a clear pool. Endless, flowing, life rising from the rock. Why a well? Not temple, not throne, not city gate. A well, stone-rimmed, deep-throated, where dust gathers in the hollows of footprints, where ropes carve grooves into the lip from centuries of hands, calloused, desperate, routine. In the old stories, love began here. Isaac's servant waited, camels panting, for Rebekah to lower her jar. Jacob rolled the stone aside for Rachel. Moses struck water for Zipporah's flock. Betrothals born in the clink of bronze pitchers, the sigh of pulleys, the first shared sip under a white sun. A meeting place, not by design, by necessity. Water draws the lonely, the laboring, the unseen. And so does he. He, the true bridegroom, comes not to a palace, not to a feast hall draped in linen, but to this, Samaria, a land of half-beliefs, half-bloods, half-truths, to a woman whose name no one speaks, whose shadow the pious avoid. He waits, not in splendor, in sweat, in the 6th hour, noon, when the sun hammers the earth flat, the same hour the sky will darken years later, when nails bite into wood, when the weight of the world settles on a crossbeam. The same hour, a thread spun across time. He comes thirsty, not just for water, for her, for the one who has known 5 men, 5 rejections, 5 graves of hope, for the one who carries shame like a second skin. He comes to claim his bride, not pure by law, but chosen by grace. Living water, not drawn, not measured, not rationed, flowing, rising, springing from within. The promise carved in Isaiah's scroll: I will pour water on the thirsty land, streams on the dry ground. Ezekiel saw it, a river from the temple threshold, deepening with every step, healing where it touched. Not ritual water, not ceremonial washings. This is breath in the lungs of the dead. This is the Spirit. And he offers it here, not in Jerusalem's courts, not behind veils, in the dust, in the scorned, in the voice of a woman no one trusts. Access rewritten, holiness unchained. The sacred spills into the profane and makes it holy. She came with a bucket, clay, cracked, familiar, a tool of survival, a symbol of effort, of daily toil, of drawing what barely sustains. She leaves it behind, not dropped, not broken, placed, like laying down a burden too long carried. The old way, works, striving, shame, the weight of what she was, left at the edge of the well. In its place, a spring, not outside, inside, bubbling up, unstoppable, eternal, not earned, given, a well within the soul. He thirsts for her faith, for her yes, for the moment her eyes shift from suspicion to surrender. She thirsts for dignity, for truth, for an end to the walk, the heat, the whispers, for righteousness that doesn't depend on her past. Their thirsts meet, not in balance, in exchange. He gives what she cannot earn. She receives what he alone can give. Then, the words, I am he, ego eimi. The breath of Sinai, the voice in the burning bush, the name that shook Moses to his sandals, not whispered in a temple, not proclaimed from a mountaintop, spoken to a woman, a Samaritan, a sinner. The first I am in John's Gospel, not to priests, not to kings, to her. The most unlikely vessel, the most unlikely revelation. The divine name lands not on marble but on dust. Her past, 5 husbands, 5 failures, 5 doors closed, was not a wall, not a disqualification. It was the ground where grace took root. The darker the soil, the brighter the bloom. Her shame was not erased, it was redeemed, used. The very thing that made her unworthy became the canvas where mercy painted its masterpiece. She runs, not to hide, to tell, to summon. Her voice, once silenced, now soaring, cuts through the market's din. Come, see. No hesitation, no shame. The town stirs, doors open, feet follow. A harvest, ripe, sudden, unexpected, reaped not by a sermon, not by a sign, but by one broken heart, met by one boundless love. One sower, one seed, one spring, and a flood of belief rising from the dust. The hills, soft, rolling, bathed in gold that pools in the hollows like spilled honey. Late light, long shadows stretching eastward, thin as threads pulled from the earth. A breeze moves, not strong, just enough to lift the blades of grass, to carry the scent of warm soil and distant rain. You can hear it, the hush of air through leaves, the low call of a bird settling for night. No urgency here, no demand, only the slow breath of the land. You've walked far, carried much. That jar, heavy in your hands, clay worn smooth by grip, chafing the palm with every step. You know its weight, the way it digs in when the sun climbs, the way it echoes with every drop you've drawn. Never enough, never clean enough, never pure enough. You've measured your worth by how full it stays, by how often you return. But here, now, the light is kind. It doesn't expose, it holds, wraps around you like a linen cloth, warm from the sun. And he is here, not standing, not waiting with expectation, sitting, at the edge of what you thought was your burden, at the rim of your exhaustion. He looks up, not to judge the cracks in the vessel, not to count the trips you've made. He asks only for a drink, a small thing, a human thing. His voice, low, steady, like water finding its level. He wants your thirst, not your performance, not your polished words. The dryness in your throat, the ache behind your eyes, the quiet confession that trembles on your lips. I have no husband. Not just the absence of a man, the absence of safety, of belonging, of being known and still chosen. And he offers, not a bucket, not a cistern, not another ritual to perform at dawn. Living water, flowing, not drawn, not earned, rising from a source deeper than stone, older than wells. It doesn't come from effort, it comes from him. A spring unblocked, a current that doesn't stop. You can leave the jar, set it down, not in anger, not in shame, gently, like laying a child to sleep. Let it rest in the dust where the grass begins to grow. The weight gone, your hands empty, open, ready for something else, something given. You can walk, not back to the well, forward into the city of your days. Not with your head down, not with your story tucked beneath your arm like a secret, with your voice lifted, with your feet sure. You have seen, you have heard, you have been met. Come. The well is quiet now. The sun dips below the ridge. The air cools. The stars will come, one by one. You don't have to return, not tonight, not ever. Rest. The water is free. The water is here. It is within. It is near. It is now.